Hey guys, it's the Flipster here, and today we're going to be giving you 7 tips to go from bronze to gold. Now, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter to get updates for whenever I'll be streaming on Twitch. And with that, follow me on Twitch so you can watch me stream and have a good laugh or something. Now, before we get started, there is a theme to this video, and that is don't make excuses. But more on that later. Also, this is my first video, so the quality may not be the best. I'm still setting up everything, making sure I get into the groove of what's done. I mean, at one point in the video, while I was making it, you can hear my cat jingle her little bell on her collar. So it's just best to know that I'm just starting out and I'm just trying to see where I belong here. So without further ado, here are 7 tips on how to improve your game in Overwatch. The first tip I have for you guys is just bite the nail and play healer. So many people don't want to play healer because they want that play of the game at the end of the game. Well, none of that really matters if your SR goes down. If your team has 3 DPS and you're one of those 3 DPS and you need another healer, it's just best for the entire team and your own SR to just switch. In fact, if you switch, your team will love you and there's no blame that can be placed on you if you just do your job well. And it's not hard to play these characters. So many people will say, oh, I can't play healer, I don't know how to play them really well. It's not hard. You stand behind your team, you give heals, and you use the rest of your abilities to just bug the other team. Or to evacuate your team, or to res your team, or whatever your job is as your certain healer. Even playing somebody as Zenyatta who has less healing potential is vital to your team because he can cause more damage to the enemy team than most other healers. So all in all, it's an easy thing to do, it's a fun thing to do, and it's just something you should do. If you want to rank up, then you have to get used to being able to be flexible and use different roles. Being able to do that, especially as a healer, it's a lot better for your SR. And for those of you thinking, well, if the team needs a Mercy, I don't want to be the one that goes Mercy. Why not? You are the bane in the other team's existence, because in any team game you're gonna hear kill the Mercy, kill the Mercy, kill the Mercy. Why? Because, well, you can raise that big old roadhog that just went down and harass the other team by saying, hey, remember that guy that was killing all your guys? He's back. So adding that into the game, you're going to be harassing the other team in some ways that any DPS just has no ability of doing. And that's what makes healing fun. The second tip I have for you is for all of you DPS mains, just make sure you know the enemy's team composition. If you see that the enemy team has a Reaper and a Soldier 76 and you're a Junkrat, just switch. Your range isn't ineffective and both of them are hard counters to Junkrat. It's just best to switch to be able to counter the other team. So go something like McCree so you can take care of that Reaper and your tanks will thank you. So why should you do this? You do a lot of damage and you're doing your job just fine, but then all of a sudden you start getting killed a lot. You don't understand how a Reaper could kill you, a Junkrat, in any scenario. Well, Reaper is meant to kill you, and so is Soldier 76. Because of Soldier's range, he's able to stay away from Junk's bombs and heal himself quickly in a situation that requires him to do so. Reaper is just a 2-shot to Junkrat, so if you're in a condensed area, well, have I got news for you? It's most likely that you're going to be taken down by this goth guy that just showed up at your doorstep. So it's just a simple thing to do, and oftentimes you can harass the enemy team more ways than one this way. If you go to McCree, for instance, then the Soldier has less versatility against you, and the Reaper is almost helpless against you if you place your flashbangs correctly. So just remember to press that tab key every now and again and make sure that you don't get outplayed. Number 3 is stop playing certain characters. I don't mean for all of you Widow mains, Hanzo mains, or Genji mains out there to stop playing those characters, but know whenever you can't play a certain character. Now, this doesn't mean for all of you people, whenever I talked about playing maybe Mercy, for instance, saying, oh, I can't play Mercy, well, that's a different case. Mercy's extremely easy, anybody can play her, don't make excuses. But what I'm talking about are people such as DPS like Widowmaker, Hanzo, Tracer, or Genji, or any of them for that matter. It's just best if you know your strong suit, and sometimes if you bring your favorite character into the competitive scene, it just does not work out. For instance, whenever I first started playing Overwatch, I played nothing but Tracer. She was my favorite character, and to this day is still one of my favorite characters in the lore. But once I tried to bring her into a competitive scene, it did not work out. It just did not work out. I know how to do her job, I know how to use her movement, but I just could not, for the life of me, do it effectively enough to help my team. So instead of being a bane on my team's existence, what I did is I went into quick play and I started to test other characters out. And I found my strong suits in every single category. For instance, my favorite offensive character now is Reaper. Reaper's a tank buster, I don't have to track as much with him, and he's just an all-around good character to have on your team if you need a push. For defense, I'm absolutely in love with playing Torb. He's good for immobilizing certain characters, holding chokes, and provides buffs to your team. Tanks, I have become a diva main because of her defense matrix and her high mobility and high damage output. And then finally, I used Mercy because, I mean, she's fun. I like being the team helper, and I like being able to spit myself... I like to spit in the face of the other team, is what I'm trying to say. So, the bottom line is that you should just stop playing these characters that you've been playing. For any of you players that are out there that are playing Tracer like I did, or you're playing Genji, or any character really that you absolutely love and it is not working out in the competitive scene, it's time to switch. Because once you figure out who you're good with, they will become your absolute favorite character. Diva is my favorite character in the game. She may not be my favorite character lore-wise, but she is my favorite character in the game because I know how to play her. I know how to do her job and do it well. I've had people in Diamond actually compliment me because guess what? I play her well. I protect my healers, I provide defensive boost for my team, and I'm able to push on the enemy team whenever I'm told to. It's just that simple. Do something that helps the team and that boosts your stats incredibly. For our fourth tip, we're going to be talking about attack Widowmakers. Now, I know Widowmaker is not always a bad thing on attack, and I've seen it work out a lot of times, but oftentimes it's just not the best idea to go Widowmaker on attack. But a lot of these people will insist that they want to be Widowmaker. Well, there's a psychology to this that I've found throughout playing in every rank that I've been in, and that is ask them politely, that's key, politely ask them to go Hanzo.
Oh, what's this? He just asked this guy to go from one character that I despise to the other?
Yeah, I did. And there's a reason behind that, and that can be summed up in 2 words. Dragon Strike. Not only does Hanzo have a much better offensive ult, he has a better offensive crowd control ability with his scatter arrow and his sonar arrow. Sure, Widowmaker may have the infrasight, but that's what makes her such a better defensive sniper than Hanzo, is that she can help the team set up offensive, or rather defensive maneuverability, as well as defensive ultimate coordination. That's her shtick. That's the whole reason behind infrasight, is to see what the enemy team is doing and be able to set up accordingly. But why not do that on attack? Well, usually people on defense while you're attacking are going to be more predictable than movements on offense. So it's just better to have somebody that you know can help clear a chokehold rather than somebody that can show you where the enemy team is obviously going to be. So, all in all, again, I'm not bashing Widowmaker. She's a good character and I enjoy having her on my team, especially if we're holding a point and we're on defense. But if we need to help push a payload, if we need help to get onto a point, if we need help to push through a choke, I want Hanzo more than Widowmaker on my team. And more likely than not, again, Widowmaker will switch because she likes to be a lone wolf backline damage dealer. And that's it. Just be nice to these people, and honestly, they'll thank you because they'll get a lot of flack just for choosing a character. Tip number 5 is switch to complement your team. Now, what I mean by this is if you are teaming up with people and you want to coordinate well, switch to characters that you know are going to help complement your other team's abilities. For instance, a good thing to complement Zarya is, say, Reaper. Not only can he combo with her ult, but he can go in, he can deal some damage while he has the bubble on him, and he can dip back out, and look at that, Zarya has a charge now, and she'll thank you for that. So just poking in and out like that can cause Zarya to go from 0 to 100 charge like that. So switching to do things like this is really easy, and it doesn't really require you to switch your role so much as it just does your character. And oftentimes, more than not, this works. Having a Reinhardt and an Ana together is good. Having a Lucio with Reaper is really good. Really, any of the supports with Reaper are really good, to be honest. Tracer with Zarya is a fantastic combo, and one that I don't see a lot of people use, but I use all the time and get excellent results, is a Sombra and D.Va, because once that EMP's out, there's nothing from stopping D.Va from dropping that juicy little jawbreaker on people and exploding them with the mouthful of flavor. Coming in at number 6, we have knowing when to ult. Let's take D.Va for instance. It is key to know when to ult using D.Va, and certain characters should already be taken out of the way, or certain abilities should be wasted before that ult comes in. So for instance, the other team has another D.Va and a Rein as their tanks. Well, that's not really the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the Rein's shield. Now, there are two things that give you a clue that you can ult as D.Va in this scenario. One is you should melt Rein's shield and listen for him to say barrier is destroyed. Once you hear that, you throw that jawbreaker of yours right into the crowd and you watch that puppy burst with all flavors of the rainbow. Are these jawbreaker jokes getting old yet? I don't think they are. Second of all is just if the Rein's dead, then you can ult. But also, this is different with other characters. For instance, you have Moira. Now, Moira's ultimate is a Kamehameha wave, which goes through shields and damages enemies while also healing herself and healing teammates. Now, there are certain scenarios that you do not use this. If you hear fire in the hole and you hear that rip tire coming, do not press Q. More than likely, that rip tire is going to run straight up your granny panties and it will blow you sky high. And then you'll have wasted an ult. So the thing is to know when you can ult with each character. And doing this is really important. And a lot of it just stems from making sure that there are no shields or the team has no protection from your ultimate attack. Now, sometimes you need a push through, and a lot of times you just happen to press Q, so you gotta go through with it. We all make those mistakes, and I still panic from time to time and waste a D.Va ult here and there. But for the most part, you have to make sure every ult you throw in counts. The last tip is number 7, and that is be aware. Call out to your team if an enemy is low, if an enemy is going a certain direction, or what have you. As Diva, for instance, I make callouts just about every few seconds because I'm telling my team where everybody on the other team is at that I can see. If I think that a Reaper might have ult, I don't even know if he has ult, but if I see him coming to the side, this is a telltale sign that tells me that he might be going in for an ult. So I'll tell my team Reaper's looking for an ult, or I'll tell that about any character based on their behavior. Because a lot of times, whenever a character is trying to set up for an ultimate, it's very obvious behavior. So look for these and call it out, and your team will be able to function and counter it properly. For instance, I can have people focus the Reaper while I place him in the middle of a defense matrix, and not only has he wasted an ult, he has just been picked off and the team fight has been switched into your team's favor. So making callouts like this as any character in any role that you play is important for team coordination and countering the other team. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you have any suggestions on more content that I could try and do, I will gladly take it into consideration. All you gotta do is go to that little comment box, type it in the comment box, and then send that comment. I'll read it, and more than likely, you'll see it come up on this channel. So that's it for now, guys. I'm the Flipster, and you guys have a great day.